today's class we shall see what is an internet and what does it comprise of, what are the elements of internet, and we shall see what are the protocols and how it is being used, what are the different types of networking, right? So this is a very interesting topic since all of us are connected to internet. I am sure all of you are connected to internet. You have your mobile devices, you have your computers, and you have so many gadgets which are always connected to internet. So we talk about networking. So basically we need a host and we need the clients or the apps which are working, and basically we need the physical communication, whether it is going to be a wired network or wireless. So most of you may be having Wi-Fi connected to your devices, and then you have routers through which the data is communicated. So when you say internet, it is not just one network, it has got so many networks connected. To see this diagram, you can see this is an institutional network. It could be Karunya, but then you have a mobile network, you have BSNL service here, you have Airtel, and then you have the providers, the home networks, and you have the different protocols. So when you say this internet, basically we need an infrastructure, we need a setup, we need the routers to be fixed, and we have a lot of hardware connections to be made. When you have the Ethernet, or when you have Wi-Fi connection, you need wires to be laid, coaxial cables to be laid, or fiber network to be laid. So, and all this works on protocol. So what do you mean by protocol? Protocol, as you know the basic meaning, it is something, a law and order or some rules. So this protocol is nothing but it defines in which way you have to communicate and what is the format and all that. So when you say a human protocol, I'm sure all of you can understand, we communicate. So we have some standard protocol. You cannot just keep shouting, I'm taking class, nobody else can talk now. There is a protocol to be followed. Maybe you can say, excuse me ma'am, I have a doubt. Similarly, when you say a computer protocol, there are a lot of sequences to be followed. So there is a request, there is a connection response. So all those comprise of your protocols. So now basically you need to know two different things. What is a network edge and what is a network core? So when you say core, it is the network core. So what is it made up of? It is made up of routers and a lot of other networks. So that is called as a core. But when you say edge, what is it? It is the computers, it is the servers which are being used. And now we shall see the different lines or different ways in which the connections are made. So basically we have a digital subscriber line where it is connected through your telephone line. Sometimes it is also connected through your cable network. So that is called as your cable network, where you have different frequency, you have different channels. So there is a home network also. Maybe you have a box which is connected at your home, and you have the router fixed, and you have the access points given. So you have enterprise networks, which we basically stick on to the Ethernet. So these are the networks which are available for the universities, and other than that we have wireless networks also. So it could be wireless LAN or it can be wired area networks. Then we need to know how the host sends packets. So you have some formula to find out what is the transmission delay or what is the speed, because everybody is bothered about the speed, right? And then when we talk about physical media, as I told you, you have wires laid. So when it is guided media, it is hardware, that is, as I told you, either there's a fiber laid, there's a copper laid. When you say unguided, it just moves freely, that is, it is wireless. So that is your radio networks. And also you had twisted pair connection, where two copper wires are twisted and connected. And these are the diagrams, and each cable has its own pros and cons. So when you say radio network, you should know what is the frequency in which it transmits. Now we come to the network core. So as I told you, the core is nothing but the routers and the network. So you have different ways in which it transmits. So one method is called as packet switching, where it is called as store and forward. Each packet is moving to one router and it moves it to the next one. And these are the basic things which you need to remember. What do you mean by queuing, and what do you mean by delay, and what do you mean by loss? So when you say queuing, it is nothing but standing in a line, standing in a queue. So these packets are sent one by one. So when it is not moving out of another router, it has to wait. But how long does it have to wait? That makes up your delay. And during this waiting process, sometimes there may be packets which get lost. So that is the loss of the network. So these are the basic functions. So how the network is connected, it is either packet switching. When you say packet switching, it is circuit switching. That is, the circuits are as such connected, and in that you have two different types. One is called as frequency division multiplexing and time division. So the data is sent based on different frequencies. The users are differentiated based on different frequencies. When it is time, it is based on the different time. Okay, so how does this loss occur? So as I told you, when it is being waiting, sometimes it gets dropped because there is no buffer at all. Suppose you go to a place and it's fully crowded, there's a queue, so you cannot wait, you just move out. It is similar to that. So now when you have a network, what is the total delay? There is a delay between each router, each system. So everything together makes up your complete delay. So here this is an example of how this delay is calculated. So we have the cars waiting in a toll booth, and there is a distance between one booth to another booth which is similar to the distance between two routers. So the question now comes here: how long until caravan is lined up before second toll booth? So what is the delay now? So the delay now, it is taken based on each car. Okay, so there are 10 cars and we have 12 minutes. So we calculate that the delay is 120 seconds. So the time for the last car, because we need to move to the next booth which has got 100 kilometer in between. Okay, so based on the speed in which it moves, 100 kilometer per hour, we have the delay calculated as 62 minutes. So that is the delay, and you have different functions defining when there will be a loss and when the delay is going to be small, all that. Okay, so we also need to know another term called as throughput. So what is a throughput? It is the bits which are transmitted per unit time, or sort of it is a rate, but it is taken as an average. So that defines the capacity or the efficiency of a network. So now we come on to the protocol stack or the OSI layers. So now we see that there are different layers. So first what we saw was a physical layer, then we have a link layer, network layer, transport layer, and an application layer. Application layer is the first layer where you write a program to communicate, and then it gets transmitted inside, it gets into the network, it gets into the link where it is transferred between the elements. Finally it is on the wire or in the wireless defined. So when you write a program for each layer, it is called as a stack, full stack. Sometimes you would have heard of full stack programmer. That makes it all. So we have a model which we call it as an OSI model. It is a standard which is developed by ISO. So again, it is the same layers, but basically it is a 7-layer protocol. So we have presentation and session layer added here. So it allows encryption and adding other content to the data. So first you write a program and then it is made up into a different format, then synchronization and all that is taken care, and then the transport starts. So this is how it is transmitting. So once it transmits, on the other end it receives from the bottom, that is, it goes through the physical layer and then it goes to the router where it is networking, transport, everything takes place. Then it comes to the destination. So we shall study more in detail in the next topics.